Welcome to Hustle and Pro Season 2, talking sports in Frisco from youth to pro. Now here's your host, Kelly Walker.
Welcome to today's Hustle and Pro. We've got a special episode for you. So I ask all my guests, what's your favorite sports movie? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I have Daniel Rentie and Brandon May with me to run down some sports movie talk here. So I was curious to kind of know what different athletes' favorite sports movies were, just to sort of get a different variety. And it's been fun hearing from them. So I've got stuff on the list. Maybe that's where we'll kind of jump off from, guys. Let's see. Rocky is one of them. And I've only had one person note that, so I don't know if that's on anybody else's list. But this next one is a big one. So I think we should start there. So Remember the Titans was like the number one, that was the number one most answered question of all of my guests this past season of what's your favorite sports movie. So was Remember the Titans on either of y'all's sports list or movie list?
It made it. Remember the Titans made it for me.
Yeah.
I thought about Rocky, but I didn't put it on there. I love Rocky, but it's not like my top. That makes sense.
So
I know that might be very, very controversial.
With Remember the Titans, I'm wondering the majority of the people that answered that, what age they were.
Sure. Yeah, it's a variety, but most of them are like, if I can remember right, Legends players and, different
So we're talking
high school. It's everybody though, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not just our age people.
Yeah.
But so I have to admit, so y'all, I have a list on mine that it's never seen in full from start to finish that I can like remember actually knowing the whole movie, and that's on mine. So I know what Remember the Titans is. I know pieces of it, but it's like one of my, kind of embarrassed to admit that I haven't sat down from start to finish and actually like meant to watch that movie.
Full disclosure, mine is Caddyshack.
Oh, Caddyshack, yeah.
I know the iconic scenes and I've heard the quotes, but I've never sat down and watched it from beginning to end.
That surprises me because that seems like humor you would like.
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've just never thought to myself, I'm going to sit down and watch that.
So
for 2 hours.
when I watch Caddyshack now, I mean, I don't set out to like, let's watch Caddyshack as a family, guys, because it's really
Right.
weird. It makes me really uncomfortable. It's one of those that it's just, there's a lot of stuff in it that is so not appropriate nowadays, and just different things going on in there. So it's one of those that I know I giggle at it and I laugh at it, but I'm also like a little uncomfortable when I watch that one.
So with Remember the Titans, what do you think, because it was so popular with the majority of the people, what do you think it is that resonates, that makes that one of their favorites? Have they explained it?
It's on your list, Daniel.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean, I think it's very multifaceted. I mean, it's very on the deep in there because I think, one, people like a good war story connected to things, like how they talk about the Battle of Gettysburg. And two, the biggest thing was the unifying of two different teams into one from separate parts of town, and the whole segregation and everything that they overcame to come together. And it was very practical as far as the leadership, the importance of leadership, and setting the example of unity. I think people love the unifying part of it.
Is that what it is?
More so more than the sports achievement. But I think it was just mainly that message, I think.
Coming together as a team.
Coming together.
Yeah,
and despite all adversity.
And don't you think that's kind of a common theme with a lot of these? Because it's, especially with football movies, it's not about the actual football in the movie.
Right.
It's usually, football movies are kind of hard to watch for the football, right? Because it's so dramatized. A 6 seconds on the clock is just, it's hard to watch that and actually try to make that look like a real football scene or something. But it's always for like that team camaraderie rather than, oh my gosh, are they going to win this or not?
Right.
For me, I don't know. So
that was the best part about Friday Night Lights.
That was about to say the exact same thing.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
they don't win. But you got to see what they went through over the course of the whole season, the town being against them because they thought they were terrible, fire the coach, putting for sale signs out in his front yard, all that kind of stuff. Like, man, you guys are ruthless. But yeah, to your point though, because I was thinking the same thing, my favorite sport is basketball. I don't have any real favorite basketball movies.
Oh, really?
That's such a difficult sport to replicate authentically on screen.
Yeah.
So, like, because you have to either find guys who know how to play basketball
Right.
and then hope they can act,
Right.
or find someone who can really act and hope they know how to play basketball.
Yeah.
So-
Are you saying Michael Jordan and Shaq aren't good actors? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm going to just leave that one alone. White men can't jump,
Yeah.
and then
Because they're actors.
and
who
then
can
he
play.
got game is where you actually were able to find that crossover with Ray Allen. But really, the best basketball movie is Hoop Dreams because it's a documentary. So it's
Oh.
not about acting.
love Hoop
It's about following these basketball players as they're trying to rise up.
Okay, I don't
and
even
get the
know Hoop
opportunity.
Dreams.
Hoop Dreams is really good, but that documentary tier is like Through the Fire. Sebastian Telfair was really good. I know
Yes.
Allen Iverson's, and LeBron's more than a game, and
Yeah.
But that's because
Those
they're not.
documentaries are,
It's not dramatized.
They're not theatrical
movies.
It's the
movies.
actual
It's not a
things.
script.
Yes.
But I will give Friday Night Lights credit because I think it's the most accurate to. I think they did a good job of making things physically comparable.
Right.
Like the hard hits and the blood and like their scenes were a lot more realistic than like Remember the Titans. And I mean, more credit too, because that's, like you said, that's a hard balance to find. Either athletes that can act or actors that are athletes.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But
Right.
that's interesting to think about. I actually found my list to be more basketball heavy,
Okay.
which was my big bias. But I was looking, I was like, man, I only love
Okay, let me
basketball
guess
movies.
then. Let me guess, because based on some of what my guest said, there were a lot of basketball movies. Let's see. The most answered basketball movie was Love and Basketball, which I had never heard of.
Oh, that was a
I
good one.
realized
didn't even-
my sports movie diversity
that Mekhi
is really
Phifer?
bad. I have hardly any basketball movies on mine. Glory Road, Blue Chips, Like Mike, Love and Basketball, Coach Carter, and I don't want to ruin this one because Daniel Rentie, you have been on my podcast before as a guest, and your answer to your favorite sports movie was
Space Jam.
Space Jam.
I am willing to die on a hill and say that it is the greatest sports movie of all time.
You know what? If I will give you that. Then.
Okay, so that's fine. So tell us why.
Man, and this was a movie for context. I used to annoy my family with this movie. I mean, you guys have kids, so you guys know when your kid has that movie.
Sure.
For me, it was maybe 2-3 times a day I would watch Space Jam.
Oh, wow.
I would be crying if I didn't have Space Jam. I was the youngest in my family, and so like if I saw my sister was watching television and I wanted to watch Space Jam, I would throw a fit just so I can watch Space Jam, and everybody would be like, "Just let Daniel watch Space Jam, everything will be fine." That
Okay.
is my like. So Michael Jordan's my favorite player,
Yeah.
so that's one thing, and then obviously I loved Looney Tunes at the time, so that merging was great. But this is what I'm about to say is really, really crazy because I think it's helped shape me a little. Had
Okay.
a point to shaping me a little bit to what I care about and believe because I watch it so many times. But Michael Jordan like came from his high place of playing at the top tier in the NBA and humbled himself to come down to help the Looney Tunes in a battle that would put them in slavery in the Looney Tune world. And so he stepped down to help them win a
dissected
game.
This
Yeah.
movie.
No, really, like it's crazy scary because one time I was at like this business thing and they were talking about how your favorite movie might have something to do with like your character
Yeah.
because you have watched it over and over and over and over again. And I was like, wow, that was so humble of Michael Jordan to step down from playing at the highest level to help the
Like
Looney Tunes in their
save-
battle.
yeah.
In this, it was really, really cool. but
Okay,
crazy
you
to
have
think
seen that on a different level.
about. Yeah. I've seen it way too many
Sure.
times. So
You've changed my mind. You have convinced.
turned.
Yes, yes,
turned
that's a very
Brandon.
convincing argument.
Man, I gotta go watch it.
My dislike of that movie is very surface level. Any alien that thinks that Sean Bradley has the talent you need to win a game,
that's the Mavericks mind.
yeah. And I'm a Sean Bradley apologist.
Well, now I have to go watch it with kids and rewatch it, like see it from that angle, so enjoy and appreciate what you've seen in it.
You've opened a world.
And some of it is the age range too. So
Yeah.
that was a '96 movie. So I was finishing high school and like moving on to a different part of my life, and not
And that was
into
a kid's
that, right?
movie?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You're much younger than me, so I can totally see how that's just in your wheelhouse of like what you were staring at the TV at the time. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, so So my list, when I was making my list for today, I realized my list is all one sport, and it ain't basketball or football.
baseball.
So yeah, it's baseball.
Baseball, some good ones.
I have.
I have a theory, so give me your list and then
Okay, here's
I'll
my
chime in.
list. Field of Dreams, which I
Yes.
know some people that's on their worst list because they're so it's the Rudy thing comes into play where it's so unrealistic you can't enjoy it, but
I got
not
you
for
on that
me.
one.
I love it. I just think it's cool. League of Their Own is on my list because I'm a softball player and I just love the whole idea of that movie. 42 is on my list. That is one that I watch over and over and every year. Sandlot is on my list.
Yep.
And Moneyball. Because once
Really?
that came out, like I just like the breaking down part of the statistical breaking down of all that. And I just thought that was an interesting way for them to explain that story and I like Ron Washington too, and he's in that. But yeah, so like I was realizing, man, they're all baseball movies. And okay, tell me your theory. I know why, but tell me why you think you think you know why I have baseball movies?
No,
Oh.
I think the reason why baseball movies translate in contrast to what I was saying about basketball movies, where it's hard to replicate that, baseball movies, just the sport itself lends itself to so much downtime.
Yeah.
That you have to tell a story in between each batter, in between each pitch,
Yep.
in between each managerial decision. You don't have to focus entirely. Basketball is up and down, back and forth the entire game. And baseball is a leisure.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that time, you have to build a story. So you don't have to rely so much on whether this guy can pitch or catch or hit.
Yeah.
You just have to rely on how are we getting through this. And then, obviously, the downtime. So my number one movie all time.
Hold on. Is it baseball?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bull Durham.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Because it's less about the
Wait.
game.
I haven't seen it.
Daniel's, you haven't seen it. Okay. It's
All
one
right.
of
If you turn me on Space Jam, I'm going to turn you on Bull Durham.
Okay.
Bull Durham was one of the popular answers of our podcast guests too. And it's on my, I don't think I know it from start to finish. Like I couldn't retell you the whole story of the whole movie myself either. So Brandon, tell us why it's your top movie.
So Bull Durham was written by a guy named Ron Shelton who used to play minor league ball. He wrote White Men Can't Jump. He wrote Tin Cup. Like he's a sports movie guy. But Bull Durham works because it's a minor league baseball team. They don't have any money. You know, it's just they're riding the bus. So that it's less about like the game of baseball and more about just what these young guys are going through trying to achieve their goals. The kicker is Kevin Costner's character is the end of his career catcher who gets sent to the team to help mentor their young but erratic pitcher. So it's like this father and son relationship, but they butt heads because the young guy thinks, well, I throw the heat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to announce myself.
You didn't want to
with-
be tamed.
Yeah, I'm trying to announce my presence with authority. And it's like, yeah, but fastballs are fascist. Like they have this big back and forth, and so the young guy thinks that the other guy's being a jerk, but he's saying, no, this is how I'm going to break you down to where you finally realize. And so, you know, eventually he starts to become successful. But then it's just a whole parade of shenanigans along the way of what happens. Like, the guys are tired. They've been playing 10 games in 10 nights, and they've been on the bus. We just need a break. And Kevin Costner's savvy character is like, oh, you want a rain out? I can get you a rain out. And they sneak into the ballpark and set off the sprinklers and then saturate the field. And so it's just all of those kind of things that only could have come from the experience of somebody who used to play minor league baseball.
Yeah.
So again, it was, and that's why I love it, is because it's less about how authentic the play is, opposed to how authentic the experience is and the lifestyle. And it's also hilarious. I mean, it's just it's a really funny movie. They go out to the pitching mound And it's not even about like, okay, what are we going to throw to this guy? They're talking about, well, so-and-so is getting married. We haven't bought a gift. What gift should we buy? Well, candlesticks are nice. Everyone likes candlesticks. It's
Which,
just
when
that
I
kind
watch
of stuff.
baseball, I think about that stuff all the time. I'm like, what do you think they're actually talking about at their conference on the
Right.
mound? Like,
But that's why I think
are they
baseball
just
movies
killing
work.
some time? And,
Right.
Because
psychologically.
yeah,
Exactly.
baseball movies are totally different, and
Yeah,
some
the
of it's
natural
not about
is-
like the actual game moments. I mean, with Field of Dreams at the top of my list, it's not really about a moment of a game and are they about to win a game. It has nothing to do with that. It's my baseball stuff. I think goes back to so much of this. Like connects me with childhood stuff, especially with my dad, because my dad coached me playing, and so like Field of Dreams with the connection with his father and you know all the legacy players and everything is cool to watch, but I just like that part of it. Like I remember my childhood stuff growing up, and then of course the player side and like a league of their own. I like the actual ball that's being played in it because it's cool to see like Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell and these random actresses do, you know, the sport that I like to do. So that's why I love League of Their Own every time it comes on. I have to watch it. And 42 is on my list just because it's super powerful and there's really good baseball stuff within it, but it's obviously the historical message is just like overwhelming every time I watch it. Okay, I have a question. Do you guys have any movies that like that you have to watch when you're browsing your channels and you see that it's on that you like can't not click on and watch? Because here are some of mine. Well, Rudy, I mentioned Rudy. I don't know. It depends on what part it's on. Some of it's kind of boring parts for me, but most of the Rudy show, like I need to watch those scenes. Okay, Jerry Maguire. Like,
okay.
When I see that on, I just have to watch it, especially if it's anywhere near the scene with him and Bob Sugar on the phone fight trying to get their clients to commit to them, right?
It's not
And he
show
gets
Friends.
down to the one Rod Tidwell call, right? And then it's the ants are crawling up my wall and the show me the money scene. Like it's this long drawn out scene, but like that's one of my favorite. It's not even like specifically sports related, but sports movie scenes because it's just great and funny. And the build up to it is so great. Do y'all like Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore is on my flyby list to where it's just
That's a good one.
silly and funny. And when it's on, like just see what part it's on to see what.
Okay,
what's
so if
If you
happening.
want to see your favorite funny part type of thing.
Yeah, just
Like,
kind of like, I don't know, you just have to click on it to see because it's one of those movies that you have seen so many times that you're just like, okay, well, what is this the beginning? Is this the middle? Like what you just like, I can't not go click in and see where they are in it.
I agree with you. Just in general, when it comes to movies, if it is a movie that I've seen multiple times, I will click on it because I know I'm not missing anything. But if it's a brand new movie,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'd really like to see that. Oh,
Right.
man,
For
it's
sure.
30 minutes in. I don't want to watch it because I'm going to miss
Yeah.
the first part.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
need to see the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like when
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption shows up every time on TNT. Like, oh, well, okay, this is when they're painting the roof.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you move on.
Give it a minute, yeah, and watch. So Karate Kid is on my list
Karate
too.
Kid's a good one.
And I don't know if it's a good movie or not, to be honest. I don't know.
The first one.
Which
But-
version of it is?
Original, 84 version,
Yeah.
but like it's one that I just want to see what they're doing. Like, is this a big moment in that? Because there was a lot of downtime in that movie too. But that's one, and then the last one on my flyby that I was thinking of is The Blind Side. So I do
Okay.
have some football movies on there, but I don't know. I always think that movie's fascinating also to watch, and again, it's like. I don't know why. I just think it's funny that Tim McGraw's in that movie, and I love Sandra Bullock. So, and I like the football story, obviously, in that one too. So, do y'all have any of those kinds of movies that you've seen so much you just have to pop in and see?
I like out of respect. I would say that's definitely Space Jam. Loving basketball. He Got Game. For some reason, it's just different for me because of Ray Allen and being in it. Like if Blue Chips is on, I don't necessarily have to stop and watch. Same for Coach Carter or Friday Night Lights. I think I've watched so much that it's just like I don't think I have to stop. And,
Yeah.
I'm the type of person once I've seen it, I don't always like rewatch every time. But
Did
just
you
mainly when I'm in the
prefer,
movie.
on Friday Night Lights, did you prefer the TV series over the movie, or did you even watch the TV
Both
series?
are equally good.
Okay.
That's tough because I love the longevity of the TV series and how they were
Yeah.
able to do a backstory. But man, I don't know. They're on the same tier to me.
Yeah.
But I would say those are ones I would just stop every time and watch. White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah, that was just on the other day.
Yep.
I can add Talladega Nights to that too.
That's a funny one.
I wrote that one down.
It's so stupid that it's like, okay, I mean, what's Will Ferrell up to right now?
It's almost like they put a spectrum where you have Days of Thunder, and then they went all the way to the other end with Talladega Nights.
Right.
It's about the same sport, and then one is just absolutely ridiculous, and the other one is like all intense and hard hitting.
Okay, what else? Anybody have any other movies? I have one obscure random that I'm betting you guys have never heard of that I want to mention.
Beat me.
Like, I know you have. There's no way because
No,
I
but
couldn't even
I got
remember
one-
it.
I got one you probably haven't heard
This
of.
is something we watched when we were little. Now, disclosure, I was a gymnast first. My parents owned a gymnastics place, and so my sisters and I were all competitive gymnasts for a while. So this is a gymnastics movie. It's called American Anthem. It came out in 1986 with Mitch Gaylord, who was an actual like Olympian story of his life. So it was one that we used to watch over and over. It's so bad. It's like him doing high bar in a barn kind of thing.
Like Footloose?
But the funny notes. So when I was thinking about this, and I called my sister, "Oh, do you remember watching that movie?" So the one of the main characters, the wife or the woman in that show, is Wayne Gretzky's wife, which is
She was in all the Police Academy movies.
Yeah, and then when I looked that up, she's also in A League of Their Own. So like
Is she?
it all came full circle. Yeah, she was some obscure like pitcher character or something. But anyway, so that's my random movie note that I want to educate you guys on, because I'm sure you guys did not sit down and watch a gymnastics movie like
American Anthem.
I did. Yeah. Okay.
And that's available on Netflix?
I
or-
doubt it's available anywhere.
All right, so I've got an obscure one for you then, because when I was making my list, I asked my wife, "What's your favorite sports movie?" And she said, "Quarterback Princess," which was a made-for-TV movie starring Helen Hunt as the prom queen / quarterback of a football team.
Oh man!
Back in like '83 or something. I had never heard of it, so I
No, me
researched
neither.
it, and I was like, "Yeah, that looks
real.
like, in all due respect, really bad."
Yeah, that's got to be.
So we have
bad.
American Anthem, Quarterback Princess.
Yeah, Daniel, do you have any?
Mine is more of like a guilty pleasure.
Is it Bring It On?
It's Bring It On.
No.
It is Bring It On. So here's the thing. My sister used to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
And at first, I was completely opposed to like, oh man, we're watching Bring It On. Like, but it was on so much that I ended up loving it.
Got into it.
Yes. The sequels, I will admit, they are bad, but spot on. Wow.
Did you find the second layer of the story and all the meaning behind it and all that?
No. I don't like, no, there's no like, I didn't get that deep into it.
I don't think the writers did either.
No.
Right. I guess, I don't know. I guess since it was girls and they were attractive, that might have been like a thing for me too. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think that would probably been a pull factor.
Right.
But,
Sure. That's
like Gabrielle Union, like.
I would have loved to have seen that if they had reversed it and Gabrielle Union was the protagonist and Kirsten Dunst was the antagonist rather than the other way around, just to see how they would have played that out. But yeah, I actually have a really good friend who is like sheepishly admitting that like that's one of his favorite movies.
Ooh, I regret to admit it. Like I was like, I have to be honest and add
Yeah.
that's
okay.
a guilty
You're
pleasure.
not alone.
But I guess obscure would be Full Court Miracle too. It's Disney, Disney original.
I don't know that one.
It's so basically this private school. They lose their head coach. Like they're so bad that their head coach just quits.
Losing a coach is always a big storyline.
But the
in
team
movies,
sucks.
yeah.
Like they're horrible.
Sure.
But they find this guy that just is at a park randomly shooting hoops and like, man, he's making a lot of shots. And apparently he was a former pro player, like tore both of his knees and he was really trying to revive his career again. And then he comes in and they find out that he's homeless and so they and wasn't even like I think they were I think it was a Catholic school and he wasn't a practicing Catholic and so like they were gonna get him kicked out of the school and everything, so they fought to keep him there and everything like that. They ended up like they were so bad. He ended up changing them. They ended up winning, and like it's a very dramatic story. But like
turnaround story.
Disney Originals had a phase to where it would go from like Cheetah Girls to High School Musical to like where they would like every Friday have a new original hit come out, like where it was just good, and this was one of them.
Okay.
So
Does High School Musical count as a sports movie?
I mean,
I don't put it there, but
he played
technically it does. And I
Yeah.
mean that was the draw for me. And like you guys mentioned a bunch of sports comedies.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, and I'll say that I wasn't the biggest fan of sports comedies because I found myself really critical of the actual sport in it.
element,
Like
yeah.
Talladega Nights, I loved because like I'm not the biggest NASCAR fan,
Right,
so I
right.
couldn't be too critical of it.
Right. Yeah.
But like semi-pro, I'm not the hugest fan of because
Too close, like,
yeah,
yeah.
it's too close to what, and I don't know. It's hard for me to uncover that critique type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's just my.
I
my
get you. I
preferences.
get you. That's probably why, like, yeah, there's some, like, Major League, like, some baseball movies that I'm like, I mean, while I get it, but I don't know, they're not on my top list, right? All right, I didn't say, a shout out, Million Dollar Baby and Creed are also kind of on my random list, but that are movies that I also love. Random that I hate those sports in real life, but I like the movies about them. I can't watch actual people boxing anymore. Just, I don't know, as a mom or something, it hurts me to see other people get hurt like that. But I like the movies because I know it's fake, and I just like the drama in those kinds of movies, like Rocky and Creed. and
Right.
Million Dollar
Well, you're
Baby.
talking about especially in a sport like boxing or MMA, where all you know is that warrior in that ring or in that cage at
Yeah.
that time that's being just utterly violent.
Yeah.
And then the movies that then take you outside of that,
Right.
the training that goes into
So
it,
the
their
journey.
relationships,
And that's what I
with
love
people
about
that
like
love
Rocky
them.
and
Yeah.
Creed.
Yeah.
Like I disrespected it earlier, but it's so inspirational. Like
Yeah.
being able to see that build up
The fight.
to it.
The fight.
And all the people
fight
that are
before the fight.
basically having to sit there and watch the person they love
Get beaten.
get beat up.
Yeah. Those are
And-
brutal. Yeah. But those are good. They're good movies.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? I know we're wrapping up, but anything else you guys just have to say out there on your list?
I have notable baseball movies.
Go for it.
To add to your list. Hardball, I loved. Basketball, that was one of the comedies I loved.
Oh, the South Park guys, right? Yeah.
And then Angels in the Outfield, notable baseball.
Yeah.
But
Tony Danza.
I mean, that pretty much completes my list. I think
Okay.
I've said everything on there.
Brandon, did we
Or
miss
you
any
guys
of
have
yours?
said everything.
Let's see. Well, all right. It's not technically a movie, but The Last Dance. You've already covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to go in there.
Would
Again,
be on my
documentary.
list. Yeah. For sure.
Oddly enough, I did write down Bring It On. Talladega Nights. We've covered Dodgeball.
Okay.
Yeah.
True
That was a
Underdog
good one.
Story. If that counts. And then if you're going to allow it, I'll go Rounders. The
Oh,
poker
yeah,
movie.
poker.
If
Ben Affleck, or-
competitive
no.
poker,
Matt Damon.
is in it.
A lot of people are in it.
It's got a huge cast and it's highly quotable.
I mean, poker is on ESPN.
It is.
Yeah,
in the
so if
off-season,
you'll
so it
allow
counts,
it,
yeah.
I'll throw that out there because it's a good one. But then
Honorable mention,
my
sure.
favorite movie of all time, no matter what the genre,
Yeah.
does have bowling in it. Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know if that qualifies as a
I'm gonna allow it.
allow it. Okay.
Yes, executive
Make it
order.
We'll allow it here
Yeah.
on Hustle and Pro, where
Yeah.
no one else is going to be judging if it's allowed or not.
Oh, real quick, Field of Dreams. There's
Yeah.
a theory out there that everybody in the movie was dead the whole time.
Whoa. You're going to throw that out as we're finishing up? Now I
yeah.
can't talk about it?
Well, that's
Yes.
the perfect time. It's
called a tease.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a cliffhanger. Good tease.
Right, for the next. Hey, Cool Runnings is worth noting too.
Ooh,
hey,
good
Jamaica, we have a bobsled. Can't go off without
Yeah, I
that.
forgot about that one. Okay, well now I'm going to go home and think about the Field of Dreams theory and see if I can wrap my head around that. And I'm going to go home and watch Bull Durham start to finish,
Bull Durham.
and
I need to
Space
watch Bull
Jam
Durham.
start to finish. So
There's so many.
yeah, there's so many.
So
I know.
anybody listening, just Google it. I'm sure there's a top 10 list
Oh, there's top lists
for
everywhere.
every
Yeah.
Reddit.
I looked at a
account.
list to come in here. I looked at a list and I was shocked. Like, I, Tonya was on some top lists, and that was on my least favorite. Those kind of movies. But everybody has their own opinion. That's why it's great.
Blades of Glory.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that one. Well, thank y'all for coming in here. I know we could talk about this for a lot longer. And, I mean, I could have done just a whole baseball movies episode myself, so it was exciting to hear y'all's favorites and talk through them. So thanks, Daniel and Brandon, for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
having us.